Hello, hello, my friends. AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink. Welcome back to my face and my card making space. And a couple of pet themed cards. Honeybee Stamps, latest release, end of February. It was recent. It was recent. Like I always say, I don't know what day it is. I don't know what year it is half time. Anyway, their most recent release was all like pet themed items, and as usual, there's so many cute things. So many cute things. I didn't even know where to begin. I'll have a link to the release. You can check all the things out, see what they've got. And yeah, I made a couple cards using a couple of the new Cling stamp sets because Honeybee has released a few over the last few months. It's like because of the detail and everything, but these are the two. Seriously. So, as usual, I couldn't decide. And I was like, well, I'll just use both, make two cards. So, as always, everything I used will be listed and linked in the description box below the video. My links are affiliate links. That just means that if you click on one of my links, end up placing an order, I do get a little kickback from that at no extra cost to you. It is what helps pay the bills, keeps the channel going, all the good things. And yeah, that's it. Let's get into making the cards. So yeah, these are red rubber on cling foam stamps, and they're like pre-trimmed everything, so you'll see they just pop right out. Man, like for those that have been card making for close to as long as I have, or if you remember, like I've got old videos. Stamps used to come like, well, we had a couple options, but generally they're either just red rubber or red rubber on cling foam, but we had to trim those ourselves, you know? It was a lot of work. It was a lot of work. And sometimes we had to like put them on the foam ourselves and then trim them. And it was a sticky mess. And I got videos. I used to use a hot knife. There's an old video on my channel showing that. Just things have changed. I can't lie. I quite like how they are now. Clair stamps are great too. But there is something satisfying about these ones. I like also that the images are on the cling foam because we didn't have that back in the day either. Anyway, back in the day when we had to walk to school, barefoot, uphill in the snow, both ways. Anyway, I'm stamping all the images. These are panels of Neenah Desert Storm cardstock, and I'm stamping these with VersaFine Clair Fallen Leaves ink. So it's just a dark brown ink, and basically just creating my own pattern paper. And I don't know why. I think it's just the very realistic style of these. When I was done, I was like, this would make awesome wallpaper. I don't know what it is with me and the wallpaper. I did a video the other day, and I was going on and on about how this would the panel I was making would make great wallpaper. I'm fixating on wallpaper. Don't ask me why, because I haven't hung wallpaper in 25 decades. It's been decades, and I have no plans on doing it again. Anyway. Back to the card. I'm all over the place. It's late. So I stamped, the cluster of images, and then I stamped a couple of them individually, and we'll come back to that. And then I did the same thing with the puppy dogs. And yeah, and it was the same sort of thing. Not only could I decide, I couldn't stick with just one stamp set because they're both awesome. I also couldn't just stick with like one or two images, because the cat images were great. And then the dogs, well, they're all dogs are great. They're all good boys, And so I did the same thing. I'm going to stamp all of them onto another panel of the Neenah Desert Storm cardstock. And, the detail. It's just, these are both sets too that if you don't like to color, you don't need to. The detail is there. And I will do a little bit of coloring, but not a whole lot. And images like this, and I've talked about this in other videos with, either very realistic images or just ones with lots of detail, like this isn't an outline. They look a lot more intimidating in some ways, but honestly, they're always the easiest to color because all that detail is there, all that line art, all of the shading, everything is there. You just need to add a little bit of color. So if you find that these types of images kind of intimidate you, don't let it. They're awesome. And they're just cute. They're just cute. Like, look at all these little puppy dogs. So I filled in the panel. I'm getting it all the ink all over my workspace. It's glass. It wipes right off. Although I really like look how good the detail shows up just on the glass. It's just bizarre. I love it. So those cats, I'd actually stamped these the day before, because life was just kind of getting in the way with everything. So it's just interesting how much the ink, dries back. I'm going to redo this panel. I watercolored it. I'm not going to include that footage. I'm going to show the second time how I do this, and I'm going to explain why. So I had stamped it, and then I'd used my distress watercolor pencils to color it in. And you can kind of see already, but I will show this close up as well, and I will compare it when I'm done. This panel I'm working on right now. I use my distress watercolor pencils, and I have this little palette. I've done a video showing how I made this palette. I will have that linked at the end of this video in the end screen. I also have a playlist using distress watercolor pencils because I've done dozens and dozens of videos. The thing to remember with these, they are pigmented. They have pigments in them. So they can create a bit of a chalky look. They also, because of pigments, it sits on top of the cardstock, and it will sit on top of the stamped lines. So most of the time when I'm working with the distress watercolor pencils, I prefer to heat emboss my images, because then that way you've got the raised edges, it just kind of, and it resists the watercolor pencils. However, another way to get around that, and I've shown this in other videos, is to stamp it, color it, and then stamp it again. So that's why I took those same images and I lined them up in my MISTI. I had to take out my grip mat out of my MISTI because, again, red rubber and cling foam. And I have this panel stuck to my sticky mat, and I took the whole panel out of my MISTI. The stamps are still in it because everything needs to stay in the same position because I'll restamp this when I'm done. And then for the coloring, distress watercolor pencils in my little palette. You don't need to do a palette like this. This is just what I like. And like I said, I did a whole video showing how I did this. It's super simple. And I'm using a little watercolor brush. And this is not watercolor paper. This is just Neenah Desert Storm cardstock. So the thing to remember is, and it doesn't have to be like the distress watercolor pencils. It could be watercolors or picking up inks with a water brush. Any of that's going to work. You just have to remember that regular cardstock can only handle so much water. So what I'm doing here is very, very simple. Like I'm just kind of just swiping the color on. I'm not trying to layer. I'm not adding a lot of water to get, a bunch of movement, anything like that. Like I'm just filling in these images and that's it. And this cardstock can handle that. It will always kind of depend on your cardstock. Neenah's Desert Storm, this is the 100-pound weight. It can handle it. It just works. Some cardstocks won't work at all. You would just have to test it. Test a scrap, it's just paper, and see what happens. Because some cardstocks, they'll just you try to add water and they will immediately pill up. It'll just get all fuzzy and weird. So you just got to test it. But the Neenah Desert Storm, it works. And because it's a craft cardstock, it also, I consider it helps hide things too, because it's not a stark white cardstock. So same thing, your coloring doesn't need to be perfect. And again, these images have tons of detail already in them. So I don't feel the need to add, any extra shading or do anything special. I just added a little bit of color. So I filled them all in. And because I did not heat emboss them, the watercolor pencils, as they dry, because that's the other thing you always have to remember, is anything placed, whether it's a marker or these or whatever on a darker cardstock, you want to make sure everything's dry before you move on to the next step to see how things look, because it just looks a lot different on the cardstock when it's wet. But with these, because of the pigments will dry, and it looks fine when it's wet, but as it fully dries, the stamp lines become very cloudy, which is what happened to the first panel I did because I wasn't thinking, and I just stamped them with my acrylic blocks. So this time, everything was lined up. See right there? And I'll show it again and I'll compare the two. But see how it's all cloudy and weird looking? Like it just doesn't look right. And I was like, duh, of course. I forgot my own rules. So this time I'd colored it all in and then inked up the stamps, put that panel back into my MISTI, inked up the stamps and stamped it again. And that will cover up any of the pencils that I got over top of the stamp lines. And it just gives it looks so much better. And I'll show side by side here. And then to remove, I'm using my sticky mat here. And to remove this, you bend the mat away from the cardstock and then just gently peel the cardstock off. That's it. And then I just stick this back in my MISTI, and then I stick my grip mat, my clear photopolymer mat, on top of it and go on. So this panel, that's the one I did that I didn't stamp on top of. Look at the difference. Like, huge difference between the two. So, yeah. You can either heat emboss your images or stamp them, color them with the distressed watercolor pencils, and then just stamp it over top of it again, and you're good to go. So once I was done with that, there is coordinating wafer dies for both of these sets. So I used the coordinating wafer dies to die cut my little kitty cats and my puppy dogs, and just tape the dies into place just to make sure, because sometimes my magnetic mat works great and the dies stay in place. Another time, like this time when I was doing it, they just didn't. So I was like, I'll just tape them into place with little bits of washi tape so they don't shift when I run that through my die cut machine. So once I've die cut these, I'm going to set them aside. I'm going to grab the panels that I had stamped originally, because I'm going to add some splatter with the Distress Watercolor palette as well. Why not? So I had already had water in some of these wells from coloring like the first panel, things like that. So they're already kind of softened. So I just added a little bit more water, used my fan brush. I'd put these backgrounds into my splat box. And then I just splattered white first. And then I'm going to take, because I did a pretty heavy hand with this, so they're like blobs of splatter, I am going to quickly dry this a bit with my heat tool, because I have found if I'm moving too quickly, because I like to do, 3 different colors, 4 different colors of splatter, whatever. If I've got like bigger blobs, I've found that if I move too quickly and I go to add like the next color, they start mixing together and it just looks weird. Do I get a little finicky about splatter? Yeah, I do. I don't think anyone who's watching this is surprised. If you're new here, welcome. I have weird fixations of things. One of them being splatter. Welcome to the chaos. Anyway, so I quickly dried the first one, and then I did like the dark brown and a bit of black. Those two I didn't bother like drawing in between, because the dark brown and black, you can't tell the difference. It's fine. So added my splatter all over this, set those aside to dry, and then I grabbed some dark brown cardstock. And this is the Pet-tastic clear stamp set. And there's a bunch of sentiments in, and they're all punny, I like my punny sentiments. I can't help it. And yeah, some of them are cat themes, some are dog themes. There's one that's like, you're turtly awesome. You're fantastic, sending birthday fishes. So, one that says thanks, for a snake. I think that's cute. It's cute. So, yeah, it's a good little set. And I use my anti-static powder tool on the cardstock, stamped the sentiments with clear embossing ink, coated them with detail white embossing powder, melted with my heat tool, and then I used my microfiber cloth to buff away that excess anti-static powder, and then coordinating wafer dies for all of the sentiments as well. So I taped those into place with my little bits of washi tape to, again, just keep everything in place so that nothing shifts when I run it through my die cut machine. So, yeah, it's just what we do. So once I've got everything taped into place, I'll run that through my die cut machine. And while I was doing my die cutting, I had like the leftover piece of this cardstock, scraps, etc. I pulled out, this is an oldie but goodie set. This is the narrow uppercase alphabet die set from Honeybee. I forget, this came out I think years ago. It's still available. But yeah, this came out some time ago. And I die cut some of the letters from that same dark brown cardstock. They're narrow. So I was like, ooh, I could fit these on here. And it just gives it a little extra something. So I die cut the letters twice. Normally, I have, a habit of stacking things like 3 times. Because I use heavier weight cardstocks. I like that look. These, though, are not like the main. If they were the main sentiment, I probably would do at least 3 layers. But I just did 2. It just gives it that little extra bit of dimension. Makes them a little easier to handle, too, than just 1 layer of cardstock. And, yeah. So, adhere the layers together with my craft tacky glue. Just like so. So, I've got meow and woof. These were fun. It was just cute. So, and the funny thing was, I wasn't going to do this. I was flipping through, my stash, looking for a different die set that I never did find, whatever. And then came across this and I was like, oh, I could do that, So after I had die cut those, I grabbed a scrap of this is like, I think, ivory cardstock. I don't even know. I grabbed a piece of it and then I had trimmed down a couple little strips. And then I trimmed down the ends of them just on an angle with my paper trimmer. These will just kind of enhance the other sentiments. And then I also die cut some circles of just vellum to make my individual animals stand out a little bit because these backgrounds are pretty busy. So the vellum just kind of softens it a bit, but that you can still see through the vellum, so you can see the critters, you know, on the patterned paper that I basically created. And I adhered the die cut critters to the vellum with just some thin foam squares. And then I put my craft tacky glue directly behind the critters and nowhere else because adhesive shows through vellum. It's not pretty, so you need to hide it. So I hid it behind the kitty cats and now you can't see the glue. And then I adhered that strip of the ivory cardstock and then I grabbed some hemp cord from my stash. A lot of people were asking about this. This is the Lawn Fawn Latte hemp twine. The images online, it made it look more metallic. It's not. I ordered a couple other colors too, and they're not metallic, which I'm actually kind of glad. Because I've talked about this. Metallic cords and threads are, I love them. I love the shiny. They're just a little bit difficult to work with. This is kind of your basic hemp. It does have a little bit of a slip to it. So I didn't show this on camera, but I did end up actually putting a little bit, just a bit of craft tacky glue right on the knot of the bows. And because that glue dries like clear, matte, you can't see it at all. Like even in real life, you can't see the glue, but that just holds, you know, the knot in place so it doesn't come undone. And then it's good to go. So got that in place. Pop the sentiment up with some thin foam squares, and then I'm going to adhere my little die cut letters there along the top corner of this card front panel. And these panels are, I can't remember if I said this, they're A2 size, so 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. So they're going to completely cover my card base. So got these adhered. I did the exact same thing on the dog card. So didn't bother filming that. It was same. So once I had those, my card bases are also Neenah Desert Storm cardstock, top folding A2, so 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. I stamped a couple of the cats on the inside. I'm using that same VersaFine Clair Fallen Leaves ink. And then I adhered my die cut sentiment. And then I'm do the same thing on the other card. And then once I've got those stamped and the sentiment added, I'm going to adhere the card front to the card base with my craft tacky glue. There we go. And then get that into place. And then I just stuck my magnets on top to hold everything down. Let the glue dry. And these cards are complete. I decided not to add any bling. They definitely have a lot going on. Like, look at they're just so cute. They're so cute. So that was the inside of the puppy dog card. I love it. I like the doggone it. I missed your birthday. Love it. Love it. No notes. It's so good. So, and then my kitty cat card. You're the cat's meow. So like I mentioned in the intro, I'll have links to everything in the description box below. And then the other videos and playlist I mentioned, those will be linked in the end screen at the end. Thank you all so very much for hanging out with me, for thumbs upping and commenting. I very much appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't. I'd love to have you. And I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Bye. Thank you so much to my amazing Patreon supporters. For anyone that might be interested in joining my Patreon community and supporting me, the link to my Patreon is in the description box below the video. For everyone else, as always, thank you all so much for taking the time to watch my videos, for thumbs upping, commenting, subscribe if you haven't, I'd love to have you. And here's a couple other videos for you to check out in case you missed them. Bye!